Oh, well, good evening once again. It's Saturday night Reaver time again, once more. And yeah, so the plan tonight is for building Reaver Titan, funnily enough. It's been a little bit hectic this evening because I got in a little bit late than normal due to traffic getting in from work. So yeah, it's been a bit crazy running around, making sure I had a shower and getting food in me and everything. So apart from that, how are you lot? I hope you're all well. And so it does begin. So these are actually the last of my Titans that I got for my sort of joint birthday and Christmas presents, because I've been saving up everything to buy more Titans. And so I'm now down to the last two Titans, which I've got the Reaver and a Warbringer left. So that's it. Nothing more in my pile of shame, so to speak. It's just purely to do with yes. Oh, hello, sofas. And beer, yes, essential for any Saturday night Reaver or Saturday night hobby hangout anyway. Make sure you got the beer in, because sometimes we just need to relax, I find. It's just one of those things, really. I'm just trying to adjust my viewing. So, oh, no, it's like extreme close-up. Where is it? Oh my word. There it is. That's better. Alright, so yes, sorry. Yeah, so the plan tonight, from scratch, we're going Reaver Titan. So I've got my bits and pieces, because obviously with the amount of Titans you get, this is just this is nothing compared to the amount of sprues that I've got sitting around in various boxes and places and everything. So I just grabbed a couple, but there's only so much you can get onto these little bases. So I grabbed a couple of bits and pieces. I'm undecided as yet if I'm going to be going with adding a Titan, remains of a Titan, for the Reaver to stand on, because this, I've pretty much decided these last two are going to go in with my Legio Domitium, the Unbroken Lords, because I need to sort of bring up the levels of the traitors, because at the moment, out of all the Titans I have, painted or unpainted, we have 55 loyalists versus 50 traitor once these two are made. So currently they're actually 48. So that's the plan. I was really struggling to try and think of where to put them, because I want to try and supplement all the Legios I've got. So when playing games with friends and that, they've got choices with their makeup, so you can do like most mana pools and stuff like that. So yeah, that was the idea. But at the moment, with a bit of a slowdown, because Christmas is only sort of like, well, it's less than 100 days away now, and we don't know if there's going to be any more sort of interesting little box sets or anything. So yeah, or I'd be happy if they reissued the last one, to be honest with you. I don't know about you guys, but yes. So with my Domitium, there's a current theme where these, which came in the old style Epic box sets, a friend of mine was after getting hold of the rules for Epic, and he got given these, and he had no use for them, so he gave them to me nicely. Just ended up with a mysterious package turned up with this. Like, there's a few bits. Obviously, I've used quite a few of these now, but yes. So they're all glued together anyway. So get rid of that bit at least. Cheers, Christopher. Thanks for joining. Are you hobbying tonight? You joining in? And if you are, what are you doing? What are you up to? And same with you, Sophus. What are you up to? You got a new Warhound, didn't you? Or I did see you getting a new Warhound. I'm sure I did. Am I correct? Am I wrong? Right. So with this is way too big to have just there. So I will be cutting this down and then arranging it. So I'm probably going to cut. Well, I'll do it now anyway. So, hey Jinx, hello. Fancy seeing you here. How's the rest of your Saturday going? Are you just checking out, chilling out? What are you up to? So yeah, with all these little bits and pieces, like where you cut them off as well, I will use these as, you know, collapsed masonry and stuff. But let's get busy with this. So with my basing, as people have seen, I utilised these for my Domitium, but with the other Titans, I tend to use the bits and pieces that you have left over again from either Titans or from the Civitas Imperialis kits, and cannibalise and cut and shunt basically, and make rubble bases. So I don't have access to a 3D printer, so I do it that style, and it works. You know, you can get some real good sort of looks with these. And I'm going to leave, that on there. So by doing that, obviously you're making use of all the spare parts that you get with, especially like Warhounds, because you've got loads of bits and pieces left over that you can utilise for baiting. And it's just a case of taking a pair of clippers and getting some glue on them. So that's the plan for the day, or today, or this evening. So it's Reaver Titan construction, base work as well, and hopefully we'll get this all coming together quite nicely. And yeah, that's the plan, and we will stick with said plan because that's what we've got to deal with. In the car, just parked up to watch and be listening while I drive home too. Will you be careful? I'm glad you're taking precautions and you're listening and not watching whilst driving. Hey MZ, hello. I hope your day's okay, and you're just chilling out with the rest of us now. Yes, yeah, I brought a new Warhound a week or so back. Not done much other than check parts. Still in box, I'm afraid. Well, that's the thing with Forge World. You do have to, check and double check. I know that they check them, but still some things do get through because we're all human at the end of the day. You'll have to hit me up if you want a few things printed, especially. I will take you up on that at some point. I just got to figure out what. Hey Rob, how are you, dude? And hello Mousebait. Hello, welcome. Hello to everybody. Lovely seeing you all again. It's like turning out all right. Good Saturday so far. Some of my favourite hobbyists all assembling in one place. How wonderful. Yes, so we'll leave that to one side for now, because when I do my basing, what I need to do, as well as obviously organising the bits and pieces for it, is that I need to get the leg sections done of the Titan in question. So basically leg and hips, get them assembled, pre-assembled basically, so I can then figure out how I want each Titan to be posed, look, which obviously I try to get quite nice dynamic poses, but without going too over the top, if you know what I mean. Because you want to have some sort of convey some form of movement, but you want to keep it believable. So that's what the plan is. And I haven't done too badly. I've had a bit of practice over the course of the years with all this heresy business and Titanicus, but sometimes I have been known to make mistakes, where I start to think something like planning ahead, and I simply overlook what I was looking at doing. One of the things for anyone who's starting out with Titans, so Jinx, you in particular, not that you've got any Titans yet, but you will do, with Reavers, these are little toe sections, which is quite nice because they come in whole section there. But you've got to remember that the slopes on the front of the toes slope towards the inside. I have done that before, but that's the sort of look you need. So the slope goes down to the inside, because the basic stance of a Reaver Titan, which I'm using reference material here, is like that. So they're normally sort of an A shape, an A frame that you get with stance. So what I would also recommend for you as well is when you start to build Titans, do the first one as the instruction shows. This is what I always do with mine. I always build the first Titan of a particular class as per instructions, so you get a feel for it before then. Sorry for the twinkles. Before going further anywhere else with it, basically. Yeah, still not started on my Warbringer. I need to sort my basing it. No, that's fine. You're a busy person at the end of the day. You've got like new cat as well, and kittens take priority in these situations. But I'm sure you'll get around to it at some point, and obviously you'll be awesome because you do awesome work. And King Crimson, Lee Crimson, to you, my Bostonian friend. Even Rob. Oh, doggone it, Lee. Just explain why I'm having trouble posing my. Oh, I've done it as well. Loads of people have done it. It's one of the little things that people do and don't realise. That, and the most common mistake, I think some of the guys here will admit they've probably done it as well, is on Warlords, because the Warlord leg. It's not kind of strange. They pose it like a normal human leg, because it's got a bit that sort of goes around like that, like a dog leg, but they put it around the wrong way. Unfortunately, doing that, the front greave will not fit on the front of the leg because there's a little slot that it's got to go into. That's the most common place. This is probably second most common. But did you use poly cement, or did you go with super glue? Because I know some people prefer just using super glue on their models, which frees it, breaks it, disassemble, reassemble. But obviously poly cement, maybe not. So yeah, he's a right bugger. As I say, it's frustrating as hell as well once you realise you go, oh. But yeah, just try and blag it, hide it behind sort of some bits on the base. Really, if you put some sort of like body parts or something in front of it, then you should be fine. Oh yes, I had to take one apart and fix it as well because it was backwards. Yeah, I think I can safely say everybody has done that. So you're not alone. So it's good having friends. And being in that situation, as I say, it is so annoying when you start kicking yourself. Oh my god! But yes, we've all been there. So, is everybody else doing Titans? Apart from, obviously, no Jinx is in the car. But is that the plan for tonight? We're coming to hang out and do some modelling, do some hobbying, do some chatting. Yeah, normal chilled out vibes. That's what we want. Super relaxo. It's like you're here and just mucking about with your buddies. That's the plan. I just heard a cat climbing the fence. Yeah, so as I say, with the assembly side of things, Reavers, they go together pretty okay, to be fair. Warhounds, I feel, are the easiest in AT scale, as Sophus can testify to. In 40k scale, Warhounds are buggers. Well, their feet are just like the worst. There's so many parts for toes. It's yeah, they're not fun. But they are hugely rewarding and satisfying. Like with any Titan assembly, they really do you really do feel quite good after building them. So it's always something to look forward to. One other thing as well, these bits here on the leg or the shin, I have seen these the wrong way around. These should be on the back, so like that. So I've seen them on the front, and they sort of, when you put the leg greaves armor on, they can sort of block it a little bit as well. So again, feet sloping in, pistons at the back. Okay. Feel free to message me if you need assistance. I'm always available. Once I see your message, I'll get back to you. Yes. And yeah, I also tend to clean as I go as well, because obviously it saves mucking about later on. It all works out at the end. Hey Kirrels, you're in, dude. Thank you for the kind words on Instagram earlier on, mate. It's lovely to have you here, and I hope that your War Master construction is continuing in the same dynamic vein as you started. Oh, have you actually, Kirill, have you with the War Master's shoulder weapons, have you gone to try and magnetize them at all, or are you just going to plug them? Because I just plug them. I could not be asked with trying to faff about with magnets, so I just paint them. I'm not using missiles on them. I suppose if the missiles were slightly better, because I know they're like 3 shots each, but yeah, because obviously they're Warhound scale, much like all the other weapons on there, like the melter. So hopefully, Warhound melters would be good. Yes, good point. Need to dry fit as much? Yes. Yeah, so that's why I always do it this way, because that way I know then I will not screw it up. That's what I keep telling myself. I can still screw things up like the best of us. So yeah, it's well. The other thing that I always have a problem with is the hips. It's not really a problem. It's just that I always oh yep, there again. Every time I do that, which is wrong. So it's like that. So it's flush there because that long section's the front. That's the groin section. Like the groin plate goes into that, and the butt plate goes in there. And for those who haven't had the joy of building Reavers, that little hole there is where these little fellows go. Now the little round bits at the end go into the thigh sections of the Reaver. So sometimes if you're going for a really like extreme pose, you'll normally find that you won't be able to get the 4 of those tubes into the butthole. So yeah, it's another little thing that if you're looking for that sort of more authentic look, then that's something you've got to bear in mind. But you know, some people don't even bother putting them on there. I always like to put them on there. I think I've got one Reaver where I haven't put them on because I've just done a really like quite elongated stride and it wouldn't meet up, so I got rid of them. Yes. Oh, you magnetized all the shoulder weapons. Oh, right, yeah, cool. Did you like? Because I've seen some people like drill in and then like sort of plug with the magnet, or did you just use like flat? What type of magnets did you use? The neodymium, I'm assuming. But yeah, I was too excited, to be honest with you, to get started on it, and I just wolfed my way through, and then I just felt can't be asked. So yeah, because obviously I'm not going to be able to sort of, well, unless I'm doing sort of a game campaign thingy, which I've done in the past, where I've let my friends borrow Titans, and obviously if 4 people want to borrow a War Master, well, 3 other people want to borrow a War Master, then that's going to be an issue if they all want the same weapon system. So it's not really, because they've got their own weapons. I've still got to paint some of them though. I've probably only done about half. Mostly I've done all the melter guns, Vulcan mega bolters, and plasmas. He says I've done a few flamers as well, but yeah, I won't be using, as I said, missile launchers because I just don't feel you get better returns with like the Vulcan Mega Bolter, because the one thing you want with a War Master is shield stripping, and 20 inches is still a decent range at the end of the day for that purpose, but you just want to get those shields down if possible, so you can shoot them in the face with the suzerain plasma destructors. I didn't find a solution. I was happy with the missile pods, so I haven't magnetized those. Yeah, I think I saw somebody just plugging it in, really. But yeah, we all have our own little crazy antics and plans when it comes to hobby. I just built and magnetized Plasma Sun Fury Annihilator and build a 2-up drop fleet spaceship. Nice. I wanted to paint some really completely different types. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw, I posted up on Twitter earlier today the BattleTech mechs I've been doing for my Ghost Bears. They are just, say, like a little sorbet project to distract me from Titans, because obviously there's only so much Titans you can do. The spaceships are always fun. Yes, they are. It explains a lot. That really sounds cool, Rob. Yeah, the drop fleet ships are really cool. I've got I bought some of them because I like spaceships, and yeah, I got some of the UCM fleets when they first sort of come out. Kind of, I missed out on getting like the Avalon for a Kickstarter because I totally missed. I've never done a Kickstarter, and I just get scared of them. I don't know why, but I just do. So I kind of, well, that and the BattleTech's Kickstarter, I could have kicked myself for missing out on the BattleTech Kickstarter because that was pretty cool. But yeah, Drop Fleet Commanders, like the Resistance ships are pretty cool. The PHR, Post-Human Republic, are also really cool as well. I snipped off the nubbing on the guns and used that to plug the gap with the pivot mount. And then sunk a 2mm by 2mm magnet N42, way to go, into the weapon and mount. Nice. Hey Sif, nice to see you, dude. Painting your 28mm Titan head. Nice. Magnetize the shoulders using 2x2 Dismags. 2 stacked in the shoulders, the armpits, and then the arm can magnetize both ends and swap them out for CC or weapons. Coolio, dude. Today I also built an IKEA Besta cabinet. Oh, you're all about the building today, aren't you, Rob? I saw that in the Titan Owners Club chat where everyone's discussing IKEA cases for their Titans. Mine still live in boxes because there's no space for Besta. So maybe one day, but not today. Luckily I could turn the body and made it. I think, yeah, Rob. I think I did see you have your Warlord in there, and I was only flicking through, and I saw it. Has it got like have you got lights in it, or am I getting confused with someone else? But I'm sure I saw your Warlord in a cupboard, in a cabinet. Sorry, but yeah, if it fits, it sits. That's all that matters, mate. You have a spare Avalon? Ooh. Oh. Yeah, let us know what you want for it, dude, and we'll discuss. Oh, dude, thank you. That's really cool. If you have, that's most appreciated, man. Probably just as well. Kickstarters are almost worse than GW. You have done too many. I know so many people that would get onto that, so many Kickstarters, and half the time, I'll be honest with you, I miss most of them. I know, like there was like Aliens one once. But that was it Prodos who was doing the Aliens game? Because I remember they brought out the last salute I went to. They had the dropship model, which was like really impressive, but bloody expensive for a gaming model. Yeah, I'm not talking like Forge World prices, but then more people play 40k and Heresy than they do Prodos Aliens. So as a collector's item, maybe, but it was quite pricey for what it was. But that's the thing, isn't it? Really, the hobby, we're all trapped. I have UCM, Shaltari, and all 2-up ships. Cool. Great news. Yeah. As I said, if it sits, it fits. Or if it fits, it sits, isn't it? That's the phrase you say with cats and boxes. Getting them in there. Cheers, Sif. I have worked out I need one more large one and 2 half-size ones to fit my entire maniple. Yeah, your ones need to be shown off because they are just amazing works. So, like Sif with his many Astorum, which look awesome. So much so, he got them on a t-shirt. Much like myself. Yay! Well, this is the one, so that's Vindicta Templi, aka Templar's Vengeance. That got the paint over by Artist Empire, and I took the picture and printed off a t-shirt. It also has, for those who haven't seen it, Legio Ignatum, just so people know. Gosh, got to show them who's what. I'll be adding some lights and little spotlights for. Yes, dude, you got to do that, because that, with your Titans sitting there all lit up, will look absolutely fantastic. And so, you know, once that's all done, mate, you're just going to sit there and stare at cabinets, which I can't see it being a time wasted doing that. I bought Kickstarters from other people who were selling it all off cheap. Dropfleet was a pretty cool game, but sadly never got popular, so people were getting rid. Oh, right. I saw a few people were sort of into it, and again, I think the realism, like the whole, because they had obviously not Dropfleet Commander, but they had the commander, the ground drop zone commander, so they could obviously do the battles in space like they used to do with the old Battlefleet Gothic, where you could do like campaign weekends or games weekends, and then you'd have some people doing Battlefleet Gothic, and their games would, you know, react and have an effect on the battles on the ground. So, you know, having systems that interlink in that respect, and I did like the whole thing about the like the orbital strikes, like where you can shoot targets on the ground. I know there's like the ground assets type things, and you can have certain upgrades to your cruisers, so you can do like bombardments of strategic assets. So that was all cool. You took the picture and I put it on my t-shirt of all the Master Storm. Yeah, but all those Master Storm looked absolutely epic, dude. And that's the thing, yellow and blue. Yellow and blue looks cool. The Storm glue, yellow and blue. I managed to collect the entire range except the dropship, and I had the APT to paint up one day. Oh, that's cool. I used to have, right, it was the original Halcyon kit they brought out back in the 90s for the dropship, the Cheyenne UD4, I think it was, dropship. And I built it, I painted it green, and I ended up where the rear landing foot comes out, you know, where the Alien Queen was sitting in, I actually cut that out, and I used to stick Imperial Guard models into it and used it as a dropship for playing games like okay, woo, and stuff, because I could. You know, the dropship is a wonderful, wonderful beast. Same as Aliens. Aliens is a wonderful film. And I used, for many, many, many years, I used to run Aliens roleplay games, tabletop. And like one campaign I had for at least 2 years, and I was literally several times a week I was running Alien sessions. I even run Alien sessions after like nights out at a pub, and it's like all bundled back around the house sort of thing. Got back home for like just after 12, after pubs clicking out, and then like being convinced that it would be a good idea for me to run an Aliens game for a few hours. So it seemed like a great idea at the time, so I did it, because that's what you do. Right. Strategic planning. Placements. So, got to get your stride on. So, with this bit of scenery, placing it in a way that I can get a foot in here, other foot there. So it's got a bit of a stride to it. Yeah. think, because I'd always do this where I start putting the things together and trying to see how it sort of, my imagination kicks in, so I can actually see what I'm doing and plan ahead and manipulate and maneuver what I want to where I want it to go. And then once I've got the foot placement sorted, that's when I'll start filling all the gaps with lots of other bits and pieces and what have you. So I'm pretty happy with the placement of that. So we are going to glue that in place. So let's tidy up the bottom a bit, because there's little nubbings on the bottom of this thing. So it's where it was taken off the sprue originally. And let the glue flow. That's, so yeah, it's going to be like it's striding through ruined buildings. As you know, in these sort of epic battles where titans are blowing the crap out of each other, there are going to be situations where, yeah, let's just walk through that building, the ruin of that building, to get at that bugger over there and blow him up with the turbo lasers. So I like that, and I've kept the same theme with several of my Legios. So like with my Legio Ozydax, the cockatrices, because they were featured in the Defense of Riser book, Riser being a Forge World, I utilised the Mechanicum scenery set that Games Workshop did. So there's like loads of pipes and like little gas silos and stuff on the basis of those ones, because you know they were fighting in and around these sort of buildings and sort of utility bits and pieces. So it sort of gave them a bit more character. With Demisium, their sort of main battle came towards like the end of the Crucible of Retribution book, where they're on their Forge World of Urdesh, and basically they were like defending, fighting. And when I was reading that, it sort of just reminded me a little bit of like Stalingrad sort of thing, where the Russians weren't like, you know, giving an inch, a centimetre, millimetre. They basically fought for everything in all the buildings, and so I wanted to have that sort of built up urban sort of feel to it. So that way it would give me the sense that, yeah, these guys were in the thick of it, trying to fight for their very survival, really. Right. Now what I'm just... Because one thing I did notice with my latest Warlord that I did recently for Demisium, I might need to trim some of this down a bit, because it's of a height where it could interfere with the weapons. So that last Warlord I did, where I put the Volkite Destructor Cannon I'd painted at the start of the week, where I was trying to, I had to really sort of like wiggle it in and over the scenery to get it into place. So I'll see how this goes when I assemble Leggies, and we'll take it from there, really, because that's all we can do. So pistons at the back. So that's the plan. So you don't want to put too much angle on the feet, because I want to try and keep the these holes straight with the inserts on the shin. So, because I want to try and keep that as straight as possible on the shin and allow the movement come from the thighs, basically. Or, to make things interesting, I could have it standing on some masonry. Because this is the other thing that I do, is that utilising bits of cut off to change the angle of the foot. So while still keeping the shin straight with the foot pad, basically, just by having it stand on something but at a slight angle, so it's like it's got like high heels on, basically. I can change the position slightly, so like something like that. So it gives it more a pronounced movement on the actual shin section by having a piece of masonry falling underneath. I'll tend to sort of pad this out as well, so it's got more to actually stand on. But oh, knocks the camera loose. So you can see like that there. So that's the plan. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with the Cuban heel. I get mine sorted with the legs, and then I try to put the hips on and the torso, and suddenly it looks epic. Yes, looks like a Titan that doesn't know he can dance. He can't dance. Oh, don't tell it he can't dance. It can dance. Believe in it. Believe in the Titans. So no, it's not. So oh, do it more like that. I was mucking about with angles. So if that goes. Yes. I feel it coming together, slowly but surely. At this point is where I go, do I just go for it? And the answer is yes. Once the glue comes out, or does it? Remember, pistons at the back. That's that. A slight angle on this one. It says. And the other thing about using polycement, you do have a little bit of grace with your timing. Oh, another fun fact. Legs, that piece there, that little vent, that's on the back. So when you're doing your legs, like the pistons, it goes on the back. in there, son. Yeah. Right, so I just change my position of my seat so I can actually see what I'm doing. Right, yeah, we'll go with that. We're committing ourselves to it now. Yeah, coffee sounds like a good idea. I realised I left my thermos in my car, so I thought I ain't got time to run down to the car and get it. So I've just got the beer and I've got some orange squash. Hopefully that will see me through. Yes. So you get these torso sections of the Reaver cut off. So the one thing about the Reaver that I do find a little bit annoying is the little ankle bits that go into these sections here, because it's a two-part jobby, whereas Warlords are in one and Warhounds don't have them. And well, they do have something similar with the War Master, but then you've got to stick bits on top, so that's a two-piece affair, so that's annoying. But it is what it is. Sounds like there's a party going on outside somewhere. There. Section from the exhausts, the little midriff section, and the connector to the legs. And there's a little bit of cutting. Ah, cool. Yeah, no, awesome, dude. Thank you. If you do, that'd be wonderful. But no worries if you haven't. So, let's get these sections off and get together. So like you got the with the arm mounts on a Reaver, because they're like a three-part affair, but they're not as annoying as the as the ankles. It's just nowhere near annoying. Apologies if there's any sort of gurgly noises coming through. I haven't long since finished dinner. As I said, it was rushing around getting clean and tidy and cooking and getting myself together as best I could. Right. Right. Reavers do go together really nicely. And they are one of the best Titans in the game. The Warlords get all the glory, and lots of people love the Warhounds, but Reavers are cool. Always been and always will be. Make sure you get the front section clean. Don't forget the engine fill turn up tonight. Sometimes pops in on a Saturday. I always fancy getting some Scourge ships, just because I look at them. I don't know. No, I don't know anything about Drop Fleet either. It's just ships. I'm sure that if and when Games Workshop brings out Battlefleet Gothic again, then that will open up a whole pane of hurt for my wallet. Because again, it's just the ships. I love spaceships. The mighty battle cruisers of the Imperial fleet, or the Mechanicus ships, are a thing of beauty in a very sort of mechanical way. Now we need the roof section. That's what goes in here. Yeah, spaceships are just so cool. I used to, not that we had the models for them, we just had cardboard representations at the time, but many moons ago, when I first sort of moved out of London, I found a local gaming club. I'd never been to a role-play gaming club before moving to Essex, and it was in a hall on a Sunday. So after I finished work, I would cycle down to this place, which is about a mile or so from where I lived, and met up with people, made friends, and played some games and stuff. But we was involved in a Starfleet Battles game campaign thing. So the plan was, it was going to use the historical sort of timeline of Starfleet and Star Trek. So it was explained to me. I said, yeah, no worry, I've got no problem. I just want to play Klingons. I love Klingons, and it was a very number crunchy game. So it's like all the ship management. You got to assign your power from your warp core to power weapons, shields, and obviously movement and stuff. And the problem with the Klingons is that they have far too many weapons for their engines to fire all. So you can never charge them all up and fire them all at their most devastating effect, because obviously Klingons have disruptors, which you can double up the power in them, and it basically overloads them, and it's absolutely devastating. But they're very close combat. They're like a shotgun. Up close and personal, they'll ruin you. But at range, you need phasers. Phaser 1s, phaser 2s, phaser 3s, and you used to get phaser Gatlins, which obviously just anything with the name Gatlin makes it instantly cool. So phaser Gatlings was just like, close range phaser freeze, but repeatable shots, which is just so brrr, but with lasers. But yeah, we was playing this campaign, and friends were playing, Kazinti, Gorn, Orions, Wind Cluster, Romulans, obviously. It was my mate who ran the club, whose name we called was Fergie, and we used to call him Fergie the Ferengi because he was all about profit. But anyway, good bloke he was. Ran this club, and so he went Romulans. Now, he went Romulans because obviously Romulans ships do get rather awesome, like with the Deridex and their cloaks and all that sort of jazz, and plasma torpedoes. However, he overlooked one salient fact, is that historically, underline that, historically, the Romulans can't get their big, great, badass ships until they meet the Klingons and trade with them for an F5 frigate. So it's a smaller version of like the D7s, the Katinga class ones that from like the original series. So smaller versions of them, because their whole later stage shipbuilding is based off of the boom section. So that long neck, for some, I don't know. But historically, that's the fluff behind it. So guess who, as the Klingon player, avoided any contact with the Romulans, and anyone else joining in who wanted to play Klingons as well, always made sure that they knew that little fact. Because once the Romulans would get rocking with like their cloaks and everything, they would be really hard to fight against. So we were just playing the game. Yeah, he never physically met my Klingon Empire, and so he was stuck going around in like the original series Warbirds, whilst I was going around with my basically I had a Negvar after like several weeks game turns. I'd built up quite a nice fleet of various like Birds of Prey, Katinga class, Vorcha class type ships. Although they were just given like D7, E4, C8, C9s, which are carriers. But such a great little game. But it was just made sweeter because the person that wanted to be the Romulans to win pretty much at all costs couldn't do anything until he met Klingons. Because he was stuck. It was his ruling. But yeah, that was fun. Probably for the wrong reasons, but still. You still got your original BFG Nidflick. Nice. Grey Knight Cruisers. Yeah, I only had a few ships. I don't know if you remember, they had the Space Fleet, which was like the cheap box, game in a box they brought out. And you got basically, well, they had the Gothic class, which was like the trident shape battle cruisers. I loved them, but then they all went with the ones you see now in the artwork, which are like the big long like slab of like chocolate bar with the prow, like the Egyptian type. Sort of, I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the original Gothic class battleship was very flat. Like from above, it looked like like a trident. There are two small prongs and then the big prow, and it had a little bit that stuck out underneath, like a ramming thing. I loved the look of them. They just really did it. I had a couple of them. Never had any. Never had any enemy ships. I literally just done the Imperial ones. I never played a game either. I literally just collected, back in those days, collected models, and that was it. You know, didn't play anything really. I played 40k once, and that was in a Games Workshop in London, in Oxford Street, in the Plaza one, and that was against a staffer, and he basically let me. My first army that I painted was BL Tan. So lots of aspect warriors. So like one of each squad, aspect warrior squad. That included the warp spiders. They'd just come out, and I had some like dreadnoughts, war walkers. I also had a land raider, which there were some rules he was saying, because I had no rule book or anything. So I was literally going down there, and he gave me a game, and he absolutely pulverised me. So much so that I never played another game until almost the end of the millennium. So this was back in sort of 1992, 93-ish when I played this game. So I would have been, I think it was about 92, so I was about 17. And as I said, I hadn't, or 93. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't play another game until sort of about 1998, 99, because I got rid of a lot of my stuff. Don't tell a lie, I didn't play until after that. Jesus. Yeah, it was in the millennium. It was because I didn't get, I basically lost interest, because obviously after I sort of moved from London when I was 19, I started role playing, and we played like card games at the club or role played, and then it was pubs, pubs and clubs. So I sort of fell out of the hobby until 2001 when the Tau turned up. I gave all my stuff away. I kept only a few figures that I had, but I gave everything away. And yeah, and then Tau turned up, and I got back involved because I loved Tau, because the anime aspect of them. Yes, Jinxed. It was a ramming thing. It was a ramming thingy. I'm sure if we Googled the Battlefleet Gothic class, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The rammy thingy. It's like an icebreaker, but it was like a little additional piece. So you had the flat prow of this trident, and then you stuck this little bit underfoot. It just looked like, I can't. It's a rammy thingy. I used to be heavily into 2nd and 3rd edition 40k with Squat and IG armies, and had Orlok, Caldor, Spire Hunters for Necromunda. Then sold it all and left the hobby. Yeah, well, people did that. I never sold any of my stuff back then. I gave it away. Maybe because I didn't think that it was worth anything. I don't know, but all my stuff. I've had a couple of what I would like to call mass extinctions of hobby. So it was the early phase where I had a load of like Rogue Trader Marines and stuff, and they started bringing out the newer stuff, and I gave a load of that away to some other hobbyist who wanted to get in, so I just gave them it. And then when I got out of the hobby, when I moved up to Basildon, I gave my mate Mike all my Space Marine stuff, which I had loads of Space Marine stuff. I had like Eldar armies, because I love Phantom Titans, those old Phantom Titans, and the Warlock Phantom Titan, which was like just looked badass. A few Warlord Titans, only one Reaver, had no Warhounds, Imperial tanks, Space Marines, and all that sort of jazz. Bagged it up, given it to them, and everything else I had. Now it's a thingy, it gets worse. 3rd edition was your start as well. Cool. No. I'm not quitting Titanic. 40k, I might, but I'll probably sell that because everybody else does. I want to be like with the cool kids. But I'm not one of these people that will sort of like sell for ridiculous money. I'll literally just, what it's worth sort of thing. I don't put a high standard on my sort of marines and stuff. They are tabletop standard to my eye. So other people might say, "Oh no, it's better than that," but I that's how I see them as tabletop standard. It's not. I am really not the greatest of painters. There are so many more awesome people out there. I'm just consistently building Titans. That's my thing. And thingies on spaceships. Now I'm keeping hold as much as possible. Stuff only becomes more valuable. Phil, yeah, no, Phil is a bastard. In the nicest of ways, because he used to work for Games Workshop in the old glory days, where they used to like shop staff when they like had metal models. You could buy the models for the cost of the metal, and obviously people were buying buckets of figures for next to nothing. So that's why a lot of the older hobbyists that used to work for Games Workshop probably have still got lots of, like, he's got his loft, loads of stuff that he sort of acquired, but they all do. I've seen loads of bits. Kirill, did you post a picture up of your shame, your model shame that you had out? I'm sure it was you. Well, I might be getting someone confused with someone else with a K name. But yeah, I'm sure that you had like really like awesome collection of like box sets and all just sitting there waiting to be loved. Phil and I worked for Judo at the same time. We used to be able to go into the warehouse and cast our own models and buy by the kilo. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think you get it was a much better deal back then for hobbying. Obviously, managers and stuff they can have so much per month. But my favourite thing, I'm sure I've mentioned it on Artist Empire's stream, so maybe not here, but Phil, when they was making Man of War, the nautical sea battle game, strategy game, there was like an urban myth going around that there was this a model that existed that was made but never released. And basically what the story was that one of the Parry twins, or the Parry twins, were basically in a meeting, and they were discussing or getting asked to make some sea monsters for the game. So like krakens and sirens, and megalodons, something that's going to really sort of add to the game. And so they said, like, can you design these and let us know and stuff, because we were interested in adding these sort of monstery things to. Oh, by the way, so when I glue this in, I scrape over them because then it helps fill in the gaps a little bit. So it doesn't. So they went away, and then one of them came back a little while later and said, right, done. It was like, what? So yeah, I've done one of the models. And what you done? I said there was a megalodon, and basically he produces a little metal shark fin. So you'd have this little shark fin on the board because you say there's a megalodon, it's underwater, and they said like no, we want like coming out the water, that sort of model sort of thing, the Kraken grabbing hold of a ship, which I think they did do that one anyway. But that story went round Games Workshop staff and all that. And then when Phil was up there at Warhammer World, at head office, he was going through the design studio and he bumped into the designer and said, is this true that you actually done a shark fin? And he's gone, yeah. He's turned around, he had like little drawers and pulled it out. He goes, there you go. There it is. Sorry. And Phil had this little megalodon shark fin. And then he goes, you can have it. Gave it to him. So, So Phil has got an unreleased... I think he's got some other models that were never released as well. But yeah, it's the right place, right time. And but he obviously... Phil does buy a lot of hobby stuff. I think he single-handedly supports the local Games Workshop store because obviously he's like, well, it's not the same store because they moved it, but he acquired lots of models over his career as a hobbyist, and never got round to doing them. And he's always buying, like, new releases come out, he'll go down and buy some more and build them up. Kept all your 90s Necromancer gangs, yes, that is also cool. Which is awesome, as Jinx says. I think it was about £25 to £30 a kilo. So obviously everything metal and lead was so heavy, but still many times cheaper than retail. Yes, we were restricted on how many kilograms you could pick up. You got into trouble with HR if you could not pay your bills or feed yourself for the rest of the month. Yeah, I'm sure they've done. Right, they've put a limit on how much you can physically buy with your staff discount as well. I'm pretty sure, like for the shop staff anyway. You're full loft of Ford World. Nice. Hey Andrew, evening dude. I was going to say something now. Oh bugger. The having. No, it's completely gone there. It was something with discounts. Yeah, sorry, that was it. Yeah, it was one of the things I heard from one of the guys, like Forge World guys, a couple of years ago. So, like with the, they noticed like spending habits of Games Workshop staff from like when they were getting their like market bonuses, like you've seen the things like, oh, staff get like a few £1,000 bonus because the business is doing so well and all that. When that happened, like I think the first time, like a couple of years ago, basically there was a sudden influx of Warlord Titans being bought. It was all through like Games Workshop and Forge World staff and buying themselves Titans. Hey, David. Hello, dude. Welcome. Actually, met up with David the other week down at Wayland Games. He kindly messaged me saying he was going to go down there with another friend of ours, Matt. So I popped in there after work. Primarily, I was going to buy an upgrade sprue for Warlord Titan, but they don't. They used to, basically in Wayland Games, in their store, if you saw something that was on the website and it wasn't on display, they used to like have, they had the staff that one of them could go into the warehouse and get it for you. But they've stopped doing that, so I didn't buy anything. But yeah, it was I was going to buy, as I said, like the weapons upgrade for the like Plasma Sun Furies and Claws and Las Blasters, so I had more weapon options. Mostly I needed a couple more Sun Furies basically just to supplement other Warlords, but they couldn't help me, so I didn't. Right. So, right, I'll take this off so you can. I'll have to move the light. I've got so many lights in here to try and see what I'm doing. So, yeah. That's going to be the sort of idea with this one. So, standing at a sort of jaunty angle. But yeah, so I don't obviously glue that into place, but it's finding what works best. Although actually I'm liking that. So it's a bit different. Yeah, no, I'm liking this. This is what I'm liking. So Georgie. It's all about the jaunt. Money well spent on Warlords, yes. Just had a game with Mr. Don't leave us hanging, dude. Who? Mr. Who? We want to know who you've had a game with, Andrew. Don't leave us hanging like this, dude. Oh, Tom. How's his arm doing? I hope he's... I know he's back painting stuff now. Managed to kill one warhound before time constraints. Once you've got him to that stage, do you paint him before you put all the panels on there? It depends on what scheme I'm doing, Jinx, because certain Titans I've done like the Legio Volcanum, the black and teal ones. Them I would just assemble, spray, well, primer, then spray with lead belcher. Then I'd paint over them all with 50-50 Mornfang and water. So it gives it a really sort of old, not well maintained, sort of rustic sort of looks to them. Dry brush, bit of sort of like silver here and there just to sort of bring some of the colours up. And then I would use the contrasts. Although saying that, I had done it the other way as well, but that was the last ones I've done. I've done the video which I think you've seen for Volcanum, but yeah, those ones I just built and sprayed and painted, because I could with those ones. And I have actually also done that with my Imperial Hunters as well, which were the speckly green ones. But certain legions like Ignatum, I had to leave the plates off because we were doing like the hazard stripes on them. These guys, I've done a bit of both. I've mostly painted on the sprue, the armor plates, because again, it depends on the colours you're using. If you're going to be doing any other effects like decals and stuff like that. So there's lots of methods that I've utilised, but as I said, like there have been ones where I just stuck it all together and just painted it from there. Some Titans you can do that with, as long as you don't put them onto glue them onto the base. You can hold them, manoeuvre them, and do what you need to do with them. But ones that you do glue to the base, you're kind of stuck, and it's really hard to get to certain areas, like leg sections on the inside and that. So yeah, you have to be a bit careful. Obviously, if you're doing Furians, I would start off with painting on sprue, because that'll be a lot easier, especially because you've got to do some the flame work, the black flames on several of the pads. So most notably the I'm not sure they're on all the pads. Definitely on leg greaves and the carapace. But yeah, you need to have a look at some of those pictures and go from there. But yeah, I'd start off with your first Titans, paint the armor plates on the sprue, just a little bit easier, and don't get too worked up over certain things. So if it's not going to plan, don't freak out, just keep going, and if you make a mistake, you can always return to it. It's not a problem. And with these guys as well, they're meant to look a little bit battered and bruised, so if you do mispaint or whatever, not a problem. Right, so please stay in place. Right. So what I'll do now with these sprues me freak out never. So this is part of the Civitas buildings. Basically, for the roofs sections, I cut them down using my big clippers. So it's a little bit showing through. So I do this to make little spars of rebar or whatever. But the other thing these are used for is for positioning where feet will go. So as you can see, I've got that position sort of set there. So I'll run a little bit of glue just in front. So doing that, I know where that foot is going to fall. And to help camouflage that, I'll pop that there. Just realise I haven't got any tweezers with me. But yeah, so I'll do a little cross section there, so it looks like it's collapsed, fallen down rebar, and it's girders or what have you. And then I'll do that several times across the actual base. Once I get some more bits and pieces. Yeah. But it's just a case of just adding random bits of misshapen plastic off of sprue, whatever you got to hand really, because obviously you're going to have a lot of sprue anyway. Just plonking it down here and around. So I'm just hearing the beat now. Down, 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 down. And they're really going for it wherever they are. So I think getting home tonight and just the smell of barbecue food was just like, oh wow. Right. So yeah, just do a few bits and pieces at a time, because you want to spread these out and around. As random as possible. I'll do one of these over here so we know the extreme. The extreme! But you don't want to go too close, because obviously you've got the leg greaves will be going on and they do stick out a little bit. So you just have to be a little bit extra careful with your positioning. But after the first couple of times you'll sort of get a feel for it and know what's what. But yeah, it just gives a nice little sort of added sort of detail to the whole thing, even if you just double up on adding bits to the, where it's standing. Do a couple more and then progress. So that's alright, he says. Right. Fun part. It says fun part mockingly. Let's go for some sprue destruction. Right, so as I said earlier on, where you have bits of sprue off of your models with a nice straight bit. I cut it in half. So get a roughage. And again, just cut that down into chunks. Trying to get the flat bit on the bottom. So it's like a nice bit of like, you know, masonry's fallen down. Oh, you bugger. Down. That's it. Lee, with the vast collection of engines you have, how do you keep your Titan poses looking fresh and unique? It's pure luck. You know, I've tried to keep as much uniqueness of them as possible, but obviously sometimes the basing helps, funnily enough, because if you've got him, you know, I have got several of them standing on Titans, but it's the positioning of the foot, if it's leaning more forward on its leading foot, if it's maybe just like planting a foot, little things like that just changes and alters the aspect that you get when you're posing. So doing it that way, it's just little bits, and then just, you know, just alternating how the turn or the rest of the actual scenery on the base affects its positioning. Something I did quite a lot of in the mid phase of my Titan building was with the Civitas kits, hobby fuel. With the Civitas kits, the smallest buildings, so the little like real small like tiered buildings, I'd use two sides of one of them, glue it together. I'd cut one of the big squares in half, place that in, and then I would cut at an angle so it could tilt how to build. So it looks like subsidence, like it's fallen down in parts. And then that gave me a nice little base to put the feet of one of these guys on to. So by doing that, it gave that look of motion where it sort of may have just collapsed the building by stomping through the ceiling or something like that and pushed the building down and all that sort of jazz. So a lot of the Titans I did keep like one leg sort of rigid and then done the opposite leg with the movement. So it's either lifting, placing, or sort of leaning on sort of thing. So again, like with this guy here, where he sort of, it's almost like he's sort of getting poised to sort of move forward. So it's like it's shifting its weight on its, you know, lead leg in preparation to move away. But yeah, it's just playing with the stances a little bit, because as I said, it is a sort of on the fly thing that you're doing, and it just makes it easier to, as you're visualizing. You know, you might have looked through and got inspiration from somebody else's hobby, and you thought, oh, I like the look of that, you know, because everyone does their things differently. But having a look, seeing what other people are doing, it all helps you to create your own sort of positioning and stances. and it does give your Titan more character as well than just being, you know, yeah, let the basing lead the design. Yeah, exactly. You know, so as I said, I liked having these themes, and because I was well, I say all my Titans had the same basing, which is like urban, because I was basing it on sort of like Titan death, you know, where they're fighting in the cities, blowing the crap out of everything. So I just, you know, again, it gives you that sort of aspect, and it also gives a sense of height to these buggers. You know, when you've got parts of buildings collapsing around them and they're striding through some buildings, it really does add to it. But I said that's the biggest buildings I've got, because I've done a couple of like 2-tier sort of buildings with the Civitas kits where I'll deliberately break them and cut them to pieces, and so it bombed out basically. And that's the effect I wanted, because you know you're walking through a building wasteland. So you just say it helps with your positioning, because you know it might be striding over something or standing on something. Your sunken buildings inspired me to try different wall bricks. Yeah, no, say it's trying to think of the words. It's, you know, seeing what other people do can set a little light off in your own mind, and you go, actually, if I, you know, based on that, I can do this sort of thing, you know, and just go from there. You know, and it said just let the model sort of tell you with how you're creating like the base, and then letting the environment of that base influence you, and you know get you like the motion. It's like when you see Rob's 40k Titans. Apart apart from his Reaver, Mr. Stompy, which again he's letting the scenery dictate the position of the Titan, because the Titan is stomping down. He's lifted its foot up to ram it home on that gun turret fortification. So that's an excellent example of allowing the sort of the scenery to dictate and sort of guide you how you're going to have your Titans. So yeah, you know, look at everyone's models, get inspiration from what people are making. You know, because I know there's probably been a couple of times where I'm going for a stance and I've just having a look or seen somebody posted something, and I go, you know what, actually that looks pretty cool. And then if I try that, and then maybe as you do that, you go, actually, I'm going to do this, and just alter it a little bit, and then you know position your torso differently, and gives you that little sense of motion and momentum. Like that last Warlord, I really want to give it a right power fist, because where its motion towards is, I can physically see it having a fist like pulled back, ready to sort of gouge the crap out of something, and that's, you know, inspiring me to take it to the next step. Just got to get a power claw, or obviously an upgrade sprue. Order myself one in. But yeah, you work with the model, you work with the base, and it just all comes together, and hopefully what you end up with is something that looks really characterful. You know, there is one there was Chrissy on Karishi, or whatever tag is. Me and Gondas on Twitter was trying to say, like, hey, you do this, and Carissa was getting into Aeronautica Imperialis, and she was trying to like give back, oh, you should do this, and we're going, I don't want planes, I've got Titans, why do I want planes? But then I did think about, you know what, I can imagine just doing like on a Reaver base, having like a building on the base, and then a Reaver climbing up it like King Kong, and like power fist catching an airplane. One of the Avengers or Thunderbolts sort of thing. It's like and grabbing it like King Kong. Never got round to doing it because no, I won't do it. It was just one of the little things I thought that would be interesting. But yeah, having him hang off of the building off the side and then the other free hand just clubbing something would have been cool. But this is my last Reaver. The last Reaver I've got. Yeah, so he's definitely shifting his weight. So it's like turning to meet a threat or something. So I like that. I like that a lot. Another tip now. I don't Jinx, I hope you're listening. I don't muck about with void shields. So the void shields, which will go on to these sections, at time of construction, I cut them out and I glue them in because I would be a nightmare to myself if I managed to lose these pesky little things. So, Jinx, part 23, these are void shield generators and they go into there. And these are probably the most commonly lost part. So what I will do, I will place this flat on the floor, and then with my small clippers, I will hold it with a finger as I clip so it doesn't spring off and disappear anywhere. And once they're cut off and they're in position, they go straight on the bloody thing. Because so many people have lost them, or they haven't taken them off the sprue. They've just forgotten about them and then throw the sprues away. And I have never lost one. I ain't planning on starting now. I have a lot of AI stuff still to do. I really want to play that as well, but so many games, so little time. No, exactly. I'm trying very hard not to put them on my AT bases. Though they would be cooler. Well, Kirill, go for it. I dare you. Oh, you been to Duxford today? Cool. You went past my work virtually. Well, let's say if you went up the M11, you definitely went past Harlow. And that's where I work. So yeah. Has Duxford still got the Field Marshal Montgomery's command caravan? Is that still up there on display? Because I remember that's where it was when I last heard about it. The reason why I asked is because that one of my granddads used to be a staff driver for Field Marshal Montgomery. So during he was a desert rat. So during the LNMain Africa campaign, I remember laying in bed watching. There used to be a program on the History Channel called Battlefields, and it was featuring LNMain, and they'd talk about the beginnings of it, what happened, how it came to being, and then they would show like a profile of the two generals, so Rommel and Montgomery. So I'm just laying there, just taking it all in. And they show footage of the generals as they're going around, oh, do this, do that, do that, and like meeting squaddies and all that sort of thing, as they're narrating stuff about them. But there was just one bit in this episode where you see a staff car being driven with Montgomery in it, and as it pulls up, a guy jumps out of the back, comes round, and opens the door for him. And I looked at him, and I just thought, that looks like my Uncle Ken. Now, my Uncle Ken was a dead ringer for his dad, sort of thing. And it didn't click at the time. I just thought, oh, that looks like Uncle Ken. And then when I sort of later I remembered about him serving the Desert Rats and being a staff driver, it just went, oh my God. But I could never find that same particular episode, because I've watched, I don't know if they revamped it or something, but I definitely saw it. I might have been hallucinating, but I definitely looked like it was on there. But yeah, it was quite a cool little thing to see, you know, former relative doing stuff. Yeah. Oh, he's still in the ground vehicle. Ah, cool. Yeah. So that's just weird. The only other story I know, obviously, was a driver for him through Africa, but he also was driving him through Italy, and he was driving Montgomery the day they went through a small Italian town where a certain Italian dictator was hanging from a lamppost outside of a petrol station. So yeah, didn't work out too well for him. Well, for the guy hanging around, well, Mussolini. Oh, really? They have a film department there restoring all the wolf. Yeah, sadly, there was so much stuff. Because I did start watching one of those things where it's like, World War II in colour, where they're obviously working on the film, and and it's just crazy to see, because before, unless you watched the movie like of recent years, it was all black and white, obviously, or slightly sepia. But seeing them in colour, it was just like, whoa, whoa, dude, it's like amazing, like glorious Technicolor dreamboat, dude. Right. Okay, so we sort of know where's things are going. Right, so super glue. Right. Super glue away. Hobby for another day. Let the children play. Down at Fraggle Rock. Oh, sorry, let the Fraggles play down at Fraggle Rock. That's the thing. When Fraggle Rock was about, we all liked Fraggles, but I think we all realised in our old age that we were all doozers. Hello again, MZ. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right. So, you can see my gravel mix. So you've got lots of different grains in there. You've got some it's Army Painter rubble, so it's like cork cut up into random bits. So I always stick some of that in and around, and then I'll get them out of the way. Get some. So it's like that guy, like the chef dude that does that. That's what I'm doing. But with my sand, and that's what this is here for, because I mixed that in with this, because with super glue, as I've mentioned many times before, it glues and sets quite well. Normally I'll go over a couple of times just to build that up a bit more. So I'm just going to go around to do this side now. It says. Get that in there. Oh. Rocky, rocky, rocky. There's a rock. One rock. Some more sprinkles. Get that in there. Bloody Fraggles. Oop, sorry. That's that. So just working with that helps build it up. Salt Bay of Titans. I think obviously most of you have seen the Titans, and obviously once it's all glued in place and painted and stuff, it looks pretty cool. As I said, you know, I was really happy how it came out, and with the use of the soda with the super glue, it helps sort of add a little bit of something. Again, with the bicarbonate soda, you can do it in layers. You can build up a texture. Add a hair in there. But always check your progress so you can get a better idea of how it's going. See what areas you need to cover next, and regularly reinsert the stuff that you've already missed. There we go. That's better. Oh yeah, I have done it on occasions where I've just held this here and then applied super glue. And doing it at an angle so it actually drips away from the feet. So the last thing you want to do when doing this process is glue it. sprint all that magic dust. So again, don't want to be going too close to Tootsie's. Get some more along here, so the gradient, don't spill it. So the gradient is rising. Yeah, so it just hides that edges as well, so it doesn't look out of place, if you know what I mean. Oh, Stevie Wonder. Excellent. Hobby fuel. Hobby fuel is warm. So especially on the tricky bits, just take it easy and don't faff about. Just do a little bit and then get the powder on. You can build up towards the edges as well. So again, when you've got that, let's have a little bit of a bits of rock scattered around. Get that in there. I was a little bit frivolous just then with the super glue, but then that foot's raised, so it's not too much of an issue, to be honest. Big rock. Sorry for the nudge there, people. That is quicker. Also, when you're doing with this as well, it helps secure any bits that you've glued on with the plastic cement, poly cement. Stops them from moving. And just build up those parts where you need to build up. Like so. Because what will I do when, actually, yeah, I can do, because the foot's raised, I can do a little bit more, but I'll just try and get just the plain grain. So yeah, so once that's like in place, like so. So yes, we've got, see the grey bits around there. Hey G Stealer. When I glue this down, I'll basically just put a huge dollop of super glue on it, and then just use neat bicarbonate of soda to skate around, because then that will lock that in place. That's not going to go anywhere once that's in place with that. But it, when you obviously paint it, well, what I tend to do, sorry, is I'll use my primer on that first to get it all greyed up and everything. Then do primer on the model, on the actual Titan, and the then do the base of lead belcher on it. So when I come to sticking it onto the base, I will normally have most of this will be using Mechanica Standard, and then I dry brush it with Tyrant Skull, and then I would glue the superstructure in place and then go over it with lead belcher, not lead belcher, sorry, Agrax, and it ties it all in, and it also turns that to the same colour. So it all works, trust me. I've done it enough times to know. But yeah, it's all the sandy bits. Make sure it's all tidy. You can go in there. You can go in there too. Right. I can see the advantage. I tend to stick with PVA, so I have time to work with the stuff. But yeah, it comes quite a long of a dry to, yeah. I use big pots of Vallejo earth texture. Dries like concrete and has really good structure to it. Cool. Not use that myself, but I'd say that's what this place is for, where we share our little sort of cunning plans for our hobby, and everyone else can get a, you know, inside and add to their own skill sets. I use everything, to be honest, but one of my current faves is grout. Oh, for large areas, very fine sand, etc., is the best for filling in debris areas. Yeah, sounds cool. The way I work anyway, of course, lots of ways to get to the same point. Yeah, grout is great, but I find I have to mix it with sand and I struggle to fix it in place. So yeah, it's I used, what did I use recently? I used something, I was trying to do, I can't remember what it was now. It might have been tile adhesive, to be honest with you, or filler. I was using that to try and do a base and then add sand to it, but it looked crap, to be honest with you. It wasn't the greatest. That's why I never finished them off. But yeah, it's all fun. All fun and frolics, followed by tons of bollocks. Alright, so get out of the way now. We stop having a look at the bicarbonate of soda. Hope everyone is okay. I'm okay. Everyone else okay? MC's asking the question. Is everyone okay? Yeah, just chilling, relaxing as best we can. Tired, but Titans needs priming and base coating. There you go. That's the problem of being a hobbyist. Not enough time in the day to do all the wondrous things we want to do. Right. The other good thing about not gluing the legs in place is bloody cables. Leg cables. Remember? So you got glue here, a little bit in there. I give a little bit around the edges of this to help with the traction. Well, traction, but sticking it in place. And then try to manipulate the bloody thing. Which is a bit tricky. But it is doable. And he bloody nudges it. Twat. Yeah, it might have been easier doing it with one leg, but I don't do that. Right, so that's in there, so I'll give that a little extra bit of gluage to help hold that in position. This is definitely where tweezers could have been a bonus. lot of times it depends on what's on sale for me. All good here, Jinx. I have a few different ones, but I have to mix it. I had this grand plan to do a 4x4 table. Got all the 3D MDF tiles, all good here, but never got further than building 16 tiles, and now they're gathering dust in the corner. Yeah. I think we've all had sort of projects that we thought, yeah, we'll do that, no problem, and then they just get stuck on the sidelines. Oh, poop. I can see why people do tend to sort of like, vary their pipes. Vary their pipes. I don't know what that means, but anyway. Yeah, so this is something else, Jinx, where at this particular juncture, because this is one part that doesn't necessarily need to be off the sprue as such, or on the sprue, the groin armour. Slots into that, because if you've gone too far with the legs, those cables, which are, as I said, you just got to stuff them in as best you can. Really, they're not the greatest, but as long as you can get them near to the hole, that's all that matters, basically. But sometimes, if you're too far forward, this will get in the way. So I always like to get that on there, and then I'll just put the butt base in, just to make sure it's there. He says. Alright. Butt base, groiny base, cables in, and I'm gonna have to do it. Now, these are part of the ankle section. So you got 6 the same. 2 long ones are for the front, obviously, as we all know. Chinchilla dust is good for roads, but I don't think it's necessary for the scale more 148 and 132. Liverpool will probably chinchilla dust as. So, how fine do you have to grind these chinchillas to get a dust? That's the question I want answered. Grinding up some chinchilla. And would sort of like armadillos, could they be used, or ferrets? Stoats would make great basing dust. Do chinchillas actually have to have their own stuff then? Because I just thought you just stuck them in a cage with sawdust. Anything furry with teeth, stick it in a cage, give it some sawdust, or shredded newspaper, or no, shredded toilet rolls. I don't know. Very orky with everything is hobby material. that is a bonus being like that, mouse. I'm like that with my work tools. Everything's a hammer. I've actually, when I was doing a carpet installation, and I realised I didn't have my hammer in my toolbox, so I used an axe. It was only one bladed axe, but the back of that worked perfectly. In fact, I think it actually made a better fitting. Using an axe. Oh, 90s dance tunes coming on now at the party. Project stuck on the sidelines. My dwarven Moria inspired diorama has been sitting for 5 years now. Yeah, as you say, sometimes you get so far and you just hit a wall or something, don't you? But I'm sure there'll be a moment where you see something and you'll just go, that's what I need to do. And you go, bang, and it just spurs you on. And next minute, you're finished, standing triumphant above the remains of this project and holding it aloft like baby Simba in the circle of life, the circle of hobby life. Gonna need coaching step by step. Like I said, no woman ever. Hamster granules. Is that the same house as the other week? Party animals. How was it? No, last week was it five? No, I'm trying to think. That was Wednesday on Artist Empire stream. We had like artillery grade fireworks going off. It's like, oh really? What's the celebration like? You know, it's a Wednesday. I don't know. You know, it's you know, and around here we've got quite a few people with like, you know, dogs and obviously cats and stuff. So obviously dogs go like batshit crazy or terrified. It's not nice for them at the end of the day, is it? But you do get some wazzocks. Everywhere you live, there's always some wombat going around causing kerfuffle because they don't give a toss about anyone else. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Such an old man. Yeah, I'm wondering what you're going to do with 2 armies and propels filled by a 2-inch almost turtle. I'm wondering if it's storage. Storage is an irrelevance. You get that bastard built, then you worry about storage. What was Scar's name before? Oh, they've done that. They're doing a prequel, aren't they? They're doing a prequel movie of The Lion King with Mufasa and his brother Nigel. I can't remember. I saw he had a name, and I thought, what? He's got a name? He wasn't always called Scar, obviously. But yeah, you don't think of that, do you? Especially if you never thought they would do a prequel to The Lion King. So obviously this is when Mufasa was not a king, which is going to be interesting because how they're going to address it, because with male lions they tend to get sort of chased out of the prides and they got to wander around, and then all they have like gangs of male lions sort of thing trying to find females. And then try to start their own little pride. Yeah. So it's just going to be those two going around. And there won't be no Timon and Pumbaa unless they're going to do something. Oh, no. If Mufasa, if he knows Hakuna Matata, that's it. There's going to be riots. It means no worries. Hakuna Matata. Yeah, that's like my motto for building stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Someone's trying to keep printing that Disney money. Well, Disney own it, practically everything anyway. You know, they've got Fox, they've got Star Wars, they've got all of Marvel. I had to be on it. Disney Plus actually isn't a bad channel. I was it was surprised. What was it? Somebody done a tweet or something about like a horror movie. What's the horror movie or something like that? And Aaron posted up about Ravenous because he thinks that's a really good sort of story and stuff like that. And so I went searching for Ravenous, like checked on Sky, no. Checked on Amazon Prime, no. I went onto Apple, and the thing with Apple is like you can put in the search, and it will show you. If it's not on Apple, it will show you what affiliate channel it is on. And Ravenous came up on Disney Plus. So along with like The Walking Dead and other notable sort of zombified sort of things, I just thought, wow, you know, Disney is catering for all. So yeah, careful with kids with your passwords for Disney Plus. You don't know what they'll be watching next. Oh, the Cruella 101 Dalmatians prequel was actually pretty good. Oh, that's is it Emma Stone, isn't it, who's done Cruella? That's the new one, yeah. Not sure I need a prequel at all. My kids are growing, so I don't. That's the thing. I didn't see. Well, my first Disney movie that I ever watched, I was about 10 or 11, and that was Robin Hood. And I absolutely love Robin Hood. Even now, I could probably just sit there and watch Robin Hood because it's awesome. Plus, it's got Foxy May Marion. But yeah, I've seen. I haven't seen most of them. I think I saw Little Mermaid because of a girl I was dating at the time. Really loved the Little Mermaid, so I watched that. It's okay, you know. But I've never really gotten into the whole like Disney movies as such. You know, I know they're classics. You know, like I've never seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, all those type of the live action type ones. I've One of Our Dinosaurs is missing. I've seen part of that, but yeah, it wasn't something that I got into watching Disney movies. Cartoons, yes. Movies, not so much. Storage. I only have space for a single large titan and only just. Now I have 4 large titans and very little space left. Good thing my son is moving to uni in 2 weeks. Yep, his room's gone. And welcome to the Titan hangar. You got like name plaque on the door and everything, Rob. Yeah, the animated Robin Hood, very good. Yes, and everybody knows that the tune, the whistle. Dumbo. I think I've watched Dumbo, but yeah. One of those things, I guess. Trying to think now. What other ones? Yeah, no, there's nothing against Disney. Like their cartoons. Obviously, there's probably lots of things to be against Disney for outside of cartoons, but yeah, just never. Obviously, well, the problem I had was that I had two older brothers, so I was more likely growing up like as a young child because they're like 8 or 9 years older than me. I watched horror movies such as The Evil Dead when it came out. I was probably around about 5 or 6, and I'd seen pornographic movies as well at that age. I had no idea what was going on. I just thought, what's going on here? No idea, no frame of reference. I saw all that before seeing my first Disney. And to think I haven't turned out to be a homicidal maniac. So yeah, so what we're doing now, Jinx, is popping these little sections in. So you want them to keep sort of fairly straight as possible, because when the overplates go into place, they fit over them quite nicely. But just be careful getting them in place. Disney Plus is much better than one. Well, out of the two companies, Disney are vastly richer and have more resources and have been doing it for much longer. Warhammer Plus, it's a start. Obviously, if they're doing their own content and only their content, they've got a long way to go to be anywhere. But they've got to invest. I saw Rob, who used to, oh bloody hell, Six-Sided. Damn it, can't remember his tag. He used to be like one of the presenters on Warhammer TV. Rob, the Roblin. I'm friendly on Facebook. Can't remember his bloody name. But he posted up the other day about with obviously what they're producing for Warhammer TV. It is like that and all the other bits and pieces, like with the iOS app and stuff, which his main concern was like they're doing the very minimum that they could be doing. If they want to do something and make something succeed, because the problem they had, like when they done Ultramarine, the movie, as a story, it was all right, but the technology they were using was they was experimenting with new technology like the facial recognition. So the actors, like they were acting and were sat trying to hit their head in position, but try and do like shocked expressions, which would then translate. So they focused more on that than other parts they could have focused on. 6 dice skills, that's it. Yes. But yeah, it's going to take time. Like their lore content, like the Abaddon one, was actually quite interesting, and Wade's an enthusiastic teller of tales. And Louise's work with the masterclass is really cool. I've watched them. I've learned new bits and new ways of doing things. So when I come to doing projects that may involve the stuff that she's done, I may include some of the things. But that's the whole thing, is learning these little bits and pieces and utilising them in our own hobby. But like Angels of Death, I'm enjoying. I'm liking it. It's a little serial thing, but yeah, you know, they need more content, so they need to put more effort into these sort of things and produce the content like any YouTuber. No, you got to keep doing content. So yeah, over time things will get better, and obviously more people subscribing, that's bringing more money into their coffers to help. But yeah, with the money that they have been doing, they do need to sort of up their game. To be honest, I wouldn't be averse to like a serialized sort of like Jackanory storytelling, and you have like maybe the author reading, you know, their books. You know, that'd be interesting to, you know, a serial of, you know, Graham McNeil reads God King, or Dan Abnett reads Unremembered Empire, or just get, you know, someone else to do it. I've missed lots of conversation here. What's going on? What's going on? One of mine came home from uni due to COVID. Oh, dude, not good. I hope these they're getting. Yeah, I don't know, boy or girl, whatever. I hope they're obviously recovering and getting out of it. Oh, boys, yes, I finished reading Lee. God damn it. That explains a lot. Those plates can be a real pain to get on properly, so I have some of my other Reavers that don't actually fit properly. Close enough, hopefully. Yeah, so you just get as close as you can, really. I like Warhammer Plus. You know, as I said, I paid for the year, so it's cheaper doing that. Plus, you're going to get your extra 10 quid voucher in October, so it's less, and you're getting a model as well. So, and you've got access to the apps and all the lore stuff and the vault stuff. There's lots there, you know. And to be fair, most of the stuff with Games Workshop is book related anyway. So if you're getting access to sort of those sort of stories from those books, they're like the Gathering Storm stories was actually really, really well done. From everyone who read it told me. I haven't read it, but everyone that I know that has read it really enjoyed it. You know, seeing what happens, you know, waking the Primarch up, going along that way. Yeah, they should have focused on flying a Thunderhawk to the flipping drop point, and let's not send the speeder thing. And Felix, hello Felix. I know the AOS peeps are a bit sad, can't blame them, but I do really like the Masterclass and the Angel of Death series. Yeah, and the Hammer of Bolter cartoons are actually quite good as well. That the last one with Old Bowlie, which is it is really, really well done. That I really enjoyed Old Bowlie. You orcs, you little uns. Manifo does a series of Breachside broadcasts, in-game lore and stories. Lots of fun for free. I don't have it because I don't have this time to watch it. Yeah, we're all good. Felix, MZ done a check-in with everyone a little while ago. Everyone's still okay. Everyone is still okay. Like October, awesome. Yeah. So in October, if you're a subscriber and you've done. I don't know if it was just for the paid in full. I don't know. Or it might be if you're a continuous subscriber. I don't know. That you'll be getting a £10 voucher for Games Workshop. Yay! Sorry. Been a long day. I don't have Warhammer Plus. I heard there is a detail in the masterclass painting bids that brings up questions for a few people. Time is a big thing, yes. One reason I don't have all the various sites now for movies, etc., is because they're basically cable TV, to be honest, just streaming. Yeah, I got rid of Netflix recently because the programs I was watching on there, like The Expanse, is now on Amazon, and yeah, there wasn't nothing really. Whether or not I go back later, I don't know. I don't know if Old Guard 2, but then again, I do have access to Netflix, so yeah. But on my own at Netflix, I don't have it anymore. It's like £10 a month. What a point. Yes. What detail was that, Gene Stealer? Yeah, Bella was great. Oh yeah. They don't make a wet palette. Yeah. I bribed my brother for the year with painting some stuff for him. Cunning. Yeah, what was I say? That's the thing with the masterclass, because obviously with the standard painting they don't use wet palettes. They'll just have the little paint pads that they use. But masterclass, especially if you're doing wet blending, you can't really do it without one, can you? But I think they're just showing that you can make a wet palette yourself. You don't have to go out and buy a wet palette. You can make them, and I know plenty of people that make their own. So if you want a wet palette, you try it out by making it. Yeah, so but yeah, it's not at all hard to check it out and make homemade ones, as she's mentioned actually. Yeah. So yeah, everything I was just rambling on about, you're already covering in the chat. So don't even need to be here now. But yeah, I say with wet palettes, because I know like they've got all the different manufacturers that make all these wet palettes and stuff. And the thing with GW is that obviously they're not going to promote other companies' stuff. So yeah, if she's made a wet palette, she's made a wet palette. She's using it. Yeah, that's all really. As I said, you can just do it kitchen towel and baking powder, baking grease paper, and a container to put it into. Like mate Mark uses a takeaway plastic container that he got from a Chinese. So it's all doable. And it is a tool. Yes, they're not selling it, and nobody has a patent for a wet palette. You can't just say, yeah, they're making their own really. So it's a tool, they're using it. So, but yeah, I know what you mean with that though. Maybe they'll make their own wet palette. Adds all the fun of all the other tools that they make, like their £15 snippers or pin vices. I've got two of these. This is the one that I bought from. Well, this is the second one I bought. This isn't the GW one. It's exactly the same as the GW one, but I got this from Hobbycraft because the new GW one I really don't like. I can't handle it right and it squeaks. So I bought myself a second one from Hobbycraft. I don't think it's a change per se, just lowering the restrictions for these videos because of their nature. They're newbie friendly. How to paint vids are going to be likely the same. Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're doing the masterclass, you've got to utilise them. So, as I said, they're not touting any products, and it is something that's been, wet palettes have been around for donkey's years before companies started making them, and specifically for hobbying. All these like tools that are out have been around long before us hobbyists got hold of them. Other sort of like painters have been using them in the past, so I don't see it being a major thing, to be honest. If they had like one of the ones from, was it red grass? I don't know. If they had something like that on there, it was clearly seen as somebody's, then that would be a bit of a no-no, because obviously they're showing other people's stuff. But anyone can make a wet palette, so it helps with the painting. Right. So that's their ankles all in place. So there you go, nice chunky ankles. A shapely ankle, sir. Yeah. So that's the lower sections pretty much done. So when doing the painting side of things, so obviously once that's sort of glued in place, I won't glue that in place just yet. He says now he's doubting it. Yeah, because normally, because with these guys, because we're obviously magnetizing, so Jinx, if you're here still, right, magnetizing of weapon arms, what I would do is this side, the right side, I would literally just glue in the weapons, the arm mount into here, not bother with magnetizing. This side I would drill using a 3mm drill bit through here. I would stick a 3x2 magnet into there, and then on the arms, these are little arm sections. So one of these is stuck in already. The other one I would cut the tip off to flatten it out, and then drill into there with the 3.2. Obviously I'll do a pilot hole with the pin vise first, make it nice and easy for the drill bit to go in there, and then drill that out with the 3mm drill bit, and then also on both of them cut off these little nubbings, find the center, pin vise it, and then drill into them for the magnets. It's really weird, like the Warlord and the Warbringer and the War Master all have basically magnet points incorporated into the model, but the Warhound and the Reaver do not. So there's that to have fun with. But I learned after doing lots of my Reavers, because I was magnetizing both arms and everything, but I'm not, I know some people want to, that's their game, but like some people like to have two close combat weapons on their Reavers. So yeah, I'm not a fan of just having, like, you got to have a canopy cannon or weapon. But yeah, I would for the beginning, when you're starting out, just keep it simple as much as possible. So just have the one arm that you can swap out the upper arm, because with the close combat weapons, which example, where is it? So yeah, so that's like the arm mount for that goes into the shoulder. So again, you got to flatten that off, drill, put a magnet in it. That's different to these. So you can't use these for close combat weapons. They're their own arm mount. So that's why I just do those magnets. So you need a 5x1mm magnet for the top carapace weapons. So that's 2. And then you need 3 magnets for this arm. And you only need the 1 magnet for this arm. So you've got 1 in the shoulder, and then 1 either end of the arm. Because then you can swap that out, put a close combat weapon in. Or if you want to do the close combat weapon on the right side, just reverse it, and I just have the fixed arm there. But I always try to keep the left arm as a close combat one, because then you're only mucking about, because obviously building up 2 or multiple copies of weapons so you can have them on either side is just, it's just too much hassle. I'll send you over a list of what magnets you're going to need. You don't need many. So I'll even look out for them for you. So I'll send you some links. Okay. And yeah, that's right, Felix, the War Master. Just to sparkle things up a bit more, 6x2. Incidentally, I used the same upper arm for my Reaver chain fist. I cut a notch in the chain arm. Alright, so you've just foregone the elbow bit and just plug it straight into the arm then, into that section. I'm assuming. On a Reaver, what did you do with the cable that goes under the main body from the? I don't attach any cabling from weapons. Warhounds, Reavers, whatever, I do not. The only ones that are the Warbringers, because they're bloody there and you can't do anything about them. But all my other Titans, I don't attach those cable bits, because then I've got more variety, because you can just mix and match and whatever with whatever weapons you've done. Originally, a lot of my earlier Warhounds were all glued in place anyway. I didn't start gluing Warhounds, magnetizing Warhounds, until I started with Legio Ozydax. Legio Ozydax, my 5th Legio. So most of my Warhounds after Ozydax, so that's Ozydax, Audax, Demisium and Fortidus, their Titans are magnetized. Apart from 2 Audax ones, which I thought, well, all these other ones are already magnetized. I'd rather have some support, dedicated support ones. So basically Plasma and Falcons, because they are pretty much standard. You would go for. But yeah, none of them weapon cables. Did not bother at all. I haven't bothered with weapon cables on my big ones, so I'm not going to bother with the small ones. Hey Tom, hello. Good to see you, dude. I heard you was having a game earlier on with Andrew. On the Reaver, what do you do? Not too much hassle. Sold on Amazon, you can get 100 pack for not too much. I think like $15. Yeah, say I bought some magnets recently, which was 5x1s, I think I only got like 50, and it cost about £7, I think. Because you will use, like, the 5x1s, every Titan above Warhound has 5x1s, apart from the War Master. So Warhounds have no mag points, because you basically just arm mounts, and they assumed that you were just going to glue them in place. Reavers, the only mag point you've got is a top one. Pardon me, sorry. And then Warhounds, or Warlords, had mag points coming out their ears. So on a standard Warlord, so you've got 4, 2 for the shoulders, 2 for the arm mounts. Then you've got 2 on the arm mounts, or more, depends on what kits you get, because they all come with arm mounts. So in a standard Warlord, you come with 2 Apocalypse launchers and 2 volcano cannons. In the Mars Beta, which is the Sun Fury one, you get 2 Sun Furies, you get a Power Claw, and you get the roof-mounted las blasters. So you get basically 1 extra weapon with the claw, which you can make a claw or a power fist, whatever mood. There's not a lot of difference apart from, I think, to hit or rules. Sorry, the rules are slightly different between a power fist and a power claw, I believe. Or am I thinking chain fist, power fist? One or the other. So yeah, so on per Warlord, you've got 4, so 7 5x1 magnets that would be required for a fully loaded weapon options in a 1 kit. Reavers, you need 1 5x1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, then the weapons. So, sorry, 2 5x1s for the carapace, and 4 for the arms, 5 for the, what do you call it, power fist or chain fist, and then 2 more for the melter volcano cannons. So 1, 2, 3, 7. So 7 3x2s and 2 5x1s. What's going on here? Yeah, they make sense, thanks. I do wish they not actually attached to cables. If they look weird, not connected. Might cut them off again. Yeah, I just, because you magnetize the weapons, I just don't see the point of having the cables there. So I've never bothered. I usually didn't have time to finish. It was a good to roll dice again. Well, that's the main thing, dude. You're getting out and rolling dice. I've got 24 magnets in my War Master. What? I try to keep away from electrical devices and hard drives, as Felix has pointed out. Yes, definitely avoid that. So yeah, whatever Titans you're getting, as I said, for the start, just say, like with the Warhounds, really, and the 2 that you get in the box, I would literally just do, because you get weapon options to kit them out the same, basically. So you get 1 of each weapon for both Titans. But I would still say, and I think chat would probably back this up, that basically the most formidable loadout for a Warhound is a plasma blast gun and a Vulcan Mega Bolter. Vulcan Mega Bolter is a light, well, compared to a plasma blast gun, it is a light lighter caliber, but it's excellent at stripping shields off of Titans. And the plasma blast gun can strip shields off of Titans, but you want that for when the shields go down, and then you can just boop and fire and hopefully get up to 4 hits with a maximal fire, so basically overcharged plasma gun. What I was doing with my earlier Titans though is basically each pair I would have both armed with Vulcan Mega Bolters, but one would have a plasma blast gun and the other one would have a turbo laser, because you want to use I use Warhounds in pairs or multiples. So the good thing about turbo laser is that it allows you to do called shots. It adds 2 to your dice roll, but if you're targeting a Titan and you're not doing a called shot, you hit a normal ballistic skill, but it's in the luck of the gods because you have to roll location. You might get lucky, you might not. So having a turbo laser, although it's only strength 8, you can focus fire, and sometimes you're only getting 2 shots, but on a 5+, if you get one, that one shot could be what kills a Titan. So being able to call where you're shooting is very handy. But plasma blast guns they just make a mess of anyone's day. So they're like they would be the first weapon you would fire at a Titan that shields have just dropped, because then you want to try and focus fire onto the locations that's been damaged, if you can. Obviously, blast weapons you can't. So, yes. So, Jinxed. There are Facebook groups that will help with your hobby. AT18 is an Adeptus Titanicus group. It's like 8,000 members, but they've got lots of, like, in the pinned post, lots of sort of resources you can go through and choose bits and pieces to take and learn from, and you get so much inspiration as well with everything that people are building and painting. I feel like a kid on my first day at school. So does your War Master basically pull the other Titans in, Tom? What do you mean my magnetic shield went down? I still have magnets. That's actually happened to me, where some of my earlier models, I done magnets under the bases because I had a metal sheet in the base of the box I stored them in, and I'd put them together and suddenly like they dragged themselves across, which was quite good. So, especially if you're squadroning your Titans. But yes, don't worry, Jinx. I will assist with any questions that you may need answering. Did I send you the link for the tutorial things that Tabletop Standard did? How to play? I did, didn't I? Yeah, no, I did. So yeah, that helps out understand how to play the game. But then you have to learn how to play the game. But yeah, so your choice of Legio is a good Legio. Legio Furians have some really nice little bits about them. So the hunting auspexes are pretty prized. Round Razor, hello dude, I didn't see you sneak in there, you cheeky scamp. But yeah, they've got some good stuff there. So that's the thing with the Titan Legios. Well, apart from Presagius, who do have some really good rules, I think they're meant to be considered like the alpha, the top of the loyalists is Presagius. But they are they are fairly balanced. So the rules are characterful additions to the Titans that you're building and painting. And it is nice to, obviously, having painted Titans in the leisure of your choice and playing a game with their rules is really cool. You know, it's nice to have that. Although I have seen people, you know, they'll paint one leisure's paint scheme, but then they'll use the rules of another leisure. And to me, that's like, what? That's the whole point of why paint Legio Kratos, but you're using Mortis rules or something like that. You know, there's no point in doing that. It seems weird. You know, I know it's everyone's hobby, but I think it goes back to like 40k games where you get like people playing, like have a Salamander's army and then go, I'm using Ultramarine rules or Iron Hand rules, but they're not Iron Hands. Yeah, so I suppose I'm a bit anal like that, but that's just me. That's how I roll. Runaway, these guys are evil. Got me pondering a big warhound lately. Ooh. Are we talking a big warhound? Like a proper big, mate. What a proper big warhound. And there goes Rob. He's there to help and support you in your decisions, G Stealer. Do it before you know it. You'll have an entire 28 mana pool. If it's too late for me, Lee corrupted me. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've had friends where they message me and go, "I'm thinking about. I really like the idea of buying this. I'm not, but I don't think I should. I don't think I should." And I just like stop what I'm doing, put down my tools on one side, and I'll just go, you are asking the wrong person to try and talk you out of buying something, because I'm just going to say, buy it. You wouldn't come to me otherwise, because you know that I'm just going to say, buy it. Get it. Own it. Have it belong to you. Create something awesome and enjoy the fuck out of it. You know? So, yeah. Influencer, maybe. I don't know. Enabler, definitely. So, yeah. Just take what you want and pay for it. That's all you got to do. And enjoy it, because that's the thing. You get these, like, big Titans are fun. They're, you know, it's a learning experience for your first one. But once it's built, you can stand back and look at it and go, gee, I built that. That's my Titan. Wife says I have to ride it to work. I want to use the Furion's rules, or I'd paint them a different colour. I'm one Titan away from a full precept mana pool. Matt even put all the correct Titan symbols on the banners. It's like he knew. See, Tom's coming in, enabling. Do it, do it, do it, do it. So that's the thing, Jinx. You've also got, if you want to do your own scheme, you've also got the create your own Legio rules. So you can do whatever you want, build up your own Legio colour scheme, background, lore, if you wanted to, and then make up some characterful sort of rules, because they give you 4 slots basically, and there's 3 or 4 choices, and you can only have a maximum of 2 from each choice basically. So like you've got traits, stratagems, war gear. Actually, so 3 lots, I think. Is there another one? I don't think there is there? So, you know, traits give you little character things. So like when I was contemplating doing a black shields, because there's black shields as well, legios that don't have any rules, or in some respects. Now this I would sort of allow if it was a game against me. I say allow, I have no authority here, but you could do a black shield legio, and because obviously there might have been loyalist and traitor legios, there might have been traitors in loyalist legios, and they go rogue. They don't agree. They're out in the wilds, and they go, "Well, I don't agree what's going on. We'll do our own thing." And they strip the livery off, and they do their own colours and rename themselves and stuff like that. But they're still inherently a former legio. So you could say this is a Furian legio that has gone black shield. So you paint them up differently, but use the Furian rules. That's doable. You know, for me, that's fluffy. Or as I said, most people just do the creator legio rule stuff, because there is some good stuff in there which does make there's some stuff in there that is a little bit too good, like points wise and stuff. So they have redone them a bit, but yeah, you're all nuts. Piggy bank is slowly filling. Meanwhile, 18. Nice mouse. We said that, didn't we? So just put a little bit aside. Eventually, you will have your own Titan. Your big guys. Maybe for a second legio. There you go. So you're always thinking ahead. Oh, come to think of it, has there been any word on when the Traitor Legions book will be out? None at all. It's a bit annoying. Over a few weeks, come down for AT. Second War Master was out, the blue even. Right, so normally, like every sort of quarter, there's been sort of releases. So we're coming into the fourth quarter. So it will be out in the fourth quarter, because we've had it was the Volkite guns, wasn't it? All the Volkite stuff that came out. So that was a release for the third quarter. You had all the big stuff in second quarter. So like the War Master, Legio, Loyalist Legios, and the Precept. The Precept book box should have been out before Christmas last year, but COVID. So yeah, it's going to be. I would assume next month, perhaps. Yeah, next month or maybe November, before Christmas. And I don't know if there will be another box set, because they normally do a box set, one per year. So, but don't know. Your other half will kill you. No, she won't. She'll be fine. You'll be happy. You'll be doing your little Titans, building and painting them. But I say, just building and painting them is so much fun. It's great, enjoyable. So yeah, so Traitor Legio books. So hopefully they'll have rules for sort of corrupted Titans, because I think that's what everyone's waiting to see, really. They've mentioned it, they've dropped hints, and they are blatant like that. So it's yeah. So once that comes out, so the revised rules for some of the older leagues. So hopefully Krytos will get some updated rules, because they are considered to be the rules are considered to be one of like the worst sort of rule sets, but who knows? But they should do, because that's the thing. Like the legios that were in Crucible of Retribution, they won't be updated in the traitor books because they were already done. Because there's no difference in the loyalist ones that were in those books. They've not been tweaked because that was done, and the loyalist book was probably already written, to be honest with you. So yes, so it's like what I do with 40k. You'll get like the last book before the new edition comes out, and they're already set up for that new edition, so already ready for 9th or whatever. So the same will be with that. Woo! Yeah, figures. I hoped maybe I just missed it. No, it'll be soon enough though. The way this year's going, look, we're halfway through September already. Most of us are still in February, so who knows? But it will be out, and then people will be rehashing their legios with any nerfs or perks they've received, and then loads of people probably doing corrupted titan stuff, which I've seen a load of people already started doing on that, like 8018. There's the amount of people that are making sort of mutated corrupted titans now. It's really impressive. I really do like some of those titans coming out. I don't have any corrupted titans in any of my things, so, and might just stay that way. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Tom, isn't it? If we will get something like that, a start collecting box, I would hope so. But then we've had one, although that was delayed. You know, will it alternate? It may be a night one. Although, wouldn't it be good if they actually done something which, like a corrupted titan box set? Oh my god, that would be cool. I'm wish listing. I have no, as I said, no authority. I have no inside knowledge. But how cool would be that they've brought out the Legio book, and then they bring out a box set for corrupted titans. So it'll still be like these sort of kits, but they might have like an additional sprue, like they did with the knights, where they had special sprues to add features or some alternate parts or something. That would be awesome. Still need to order Volkite weapons on my lists at the moment. For the warlords, the destructors are really quite good. I don't think they're as good on the smaller stuff. From what I've seen from like Maximal Fire, the guys at Maximal Fire, and maybe Goonhammer as well. I don't think because point cost and effectiveness, the Vulcan Megabolt is still outshines everything for what it does. So yeah, if there was something, either they made the Volkite for the Warhound and Reaver cheaper, or enhanced the range a bit, I don't know. But hard to beat the starter set, really. Really want cheap way to get warlords. Yeah. Well, that's the thing I liked about the preset, because Warlord and Warbringers, I do enjoy Warbringers. I didn't at the start, but I have grown to love them. They are pretty cool, and they're in game. They're really quite hardy as well. They can take a lot of damage. She did ask how big they are the other day. Well, see, tiny. See, really small, really small. So you can fit one on the end of your finger. See? Tiny, tiny things. You won't notice them. Yeah, the starter set is still such a great, for warhounds. And that's the thing. It's like I've been in situations where I've looked. Well, I need some more Titans. Oh right, okay. Well, for what I'm paying out for a box of, you know, a War Reaver or something like that, I can pay twice as much, get 2 Reavers and 2 Warhounds and 2 Lancers and some dice and tokens and all that sort of stuff, which you donate to people. Not that I know, it's still suffering from info overload. Been interesting how possessed engines will be handled. New box, Forge World armor sets, plastic upgrade sprue. Yeah, that's what I'm interested in finding out. Interesting. Won't be doing that lightly. Wouldn't fit my theme. Corrupted Knights I could get into. Yeah. They've mentioned Corrupted Knights as well. So if there's any rules for corrupting knights, I don't know. Could be interesting. Yeah, Warhound is what I want Volkites on, at least as an alternate. I just love everyone loves the Tomb. By the time I get to them, they'll probably be updated and good. Well, hopefully, they need a tweak, just a little tweak, because that's the thing. As I was saying earlier on with like Warhounds, there's the go-to, which is Plasmas and Vulcans. They are pretty much no-brainers. Changing points costs on other weapons to make them more appealing would only help to obviously give you options, because obviously you might, if you're doing a mana pool, you want to juggle your points about and stuff like that, to try and make things fit. But sometimes you can't. So having another weapon, it might not be as good as that, but it's cheaper, so it allows you to buy those other bits and pieces. That is useful and handy dandy. But yeah, it's something that they need to sort of address. And I say, any other weapons that are coming out down the pipeline, because as I said, with the War Master having melters on their shoulders, and all those shoulder mounts are Warhound grade weapons, that's gonna make things interesting. I would like to see APOC launchers on Warhounds. That would be cool. I know, again, I said I don't like them on the War Master because I don't find that 3 shots from a missile pod are that great. Well, from 1 missile pod, because you've got 2, so still not great. But melters on Warhounds, interesting. That would be actually quite a lot of fun, having that sort of thing. For sure. Alright. Yeah, bring the Cytines. Yeah, Cytines. Oh my god. they are scary. I've got to take mine out again for a game, just to because I wasn't playing them properly last time. I didn't understand the rules, and I'm standing there going, bloody hell, just like so many points and it's crap. And not realizing all the things like the sinister Sinister Stratum Tenebrae, the weapon that they use. That thing is lethal. I've mentioned it before. I play tested. Well, I say play tested. I run the dice, and let's pretend a battle is unfolding where a side Titan went up against a minimum light Venator mana pool, and yeah, just killed them all. And it took a little bit of damage, but it healed, got better, blew shit up. So yeah, it is a formidable Titan, and the points justify it. Oh dear. Right. This is a little like listening and reading to a foreign language. You will learn, young one, my Padawan. You will learn. Yeah, games didn't have to. Yeah. So once you're in it, you'll know it, and it'll be like a second language, the language of the princeps. You will become a princeps. Once you get your Titans. But yeah, so I think I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight, people. Get a bit tired, and I've got to work all next week. I haven't got a day off until Tuesday week, the 21st. It's the 20th. No, it's the 20th. So 29th is my next day off. So yeah. So yeah, well, I'll just say thank you for all coming in again and hanging out and hobbying. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and stuff like that. Yeah, the usual jargon. I should mention it more often than not, but I keep on forgetting because we're all friends here. But yeah, it's been lovely hanging out with you. Definitely less troll action than last week. For those that were here, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it was just a nice, relaxing, chilled out chat about Titans and showing you how I do bases and stuff. So yes, thank you all. I hope you all have wicked awesome weekends and super duper weeks until we meet again. So as normal, Wednesdays on with Artist Empire, and next Saturday back here with the Hangout. And yeah, so keep safe until then. Happy hobbying, and yeah, let's all meet up next week. Take care, people.